Now, Flying Eagles coach Manu Garba is expecting a spectacular match against Brazil in their opening game at the FIFA Under-20 World Cup in New Zealand tomorrow morning. Well, Brazil have won the World Cup 5 times, but Garba believes that his boys will not play second fiddle despite parading the youngest side in the tournament. He said that the level of confidence in the team will make them surprise the South Americans. Well, the match will be handled by the Italian referee Osato Daniele, to be assisted by compatriot Tololini Mauro and Manganelli Lorenzo, as well as Liani Liran from Israel. Well, the Athletics Federation of Nigeria has lined up 3 Golden League meets for home-based athletes ahead of the Warri International Relays, and the All-Nigeria Championship will serve as a qualifier for the All-Africa Games in Congo and the Beijing 2015 IAAF World Championship. All the meets are slated for Rojeni Stadium, Anambra State on June the 11th, Kaduna on June the 24th, and the final leg will hold in Ilorin, Kwara State on July the 11th. The Warri International Relays is slated for July the 24th, while the All-Nigeria Athletics Championship will hold from July the 30th to August the 1st in Calabar, Cross River State. President of the AFN, Solomon Ogba, says that the 3-leg Golden League will put the home athletes in top shape with the foreign athletes. Well, Russian football chief Nikolay has stepped down after losing the vote of confidence during the conference in Moscow. Well, delegates at a conference in Moscow earlier today voted with a majority of 235 out of 449 in favor of him departing a position he has held since 2012. The 59-year-old has faced criticism for mounting debts under his tenure with the football union in the red to the tune of $26.74 million. Voting for a new president is due to take place within the next 3 months, with Vice President Nikita Simonia taking temporary charge. And Arsenal manager Arsene Wenger is dreaming of more laurels at the Emirates next season after retaining the FA Cup trophy. All the Gunners organised an open top boss parade today following their 4-0 demolition of Aston Villa on Saturday, and celebrated with their fans on a rainy soaked afternoon. For the players, the fact that fans showed up in numbers despite the poor weather made the parade extra special.
We have the appetite. In England the competition is very tough, and we will of course come back. I believe that we go out of the season feeling that we have made progress. We have won silverware again, and in 2015 we have made more points than any other. So we want to continue.
We wanted to do well this year and win something else, and we managed to do that and get the same feeling as we did last year. You know, it's just a great feeling. You know, you can see all the fans here today out in their numbers again, even though there's a bit of rain. But, you know, it's just fantastic for the club and for the supporters.
To see so much people in the streets with the bad weather like that, it's amazing for us. To be honest, I didn't expect so much people because last year it was a fantastic day, and we expected maybe 200,000. But to be honest, with the bad weather, it's fantastic to have so much people in the street.
Well, in tennis now, Ana Ivanovic has reached the French Open quarterfinals for the first time since her 2008 title, and will face Elena Svitolina, the first Ukrainian to reach the last 8. A 7th-seed Serb, Ivanovic defeated Russian 9th seed Katerina Makarova 7-5, 3-6, 6-1 to book her 8th career Grand Slam quarterfinals. Watched once again by her boyfriend Bastian Schweinsteiger, Germany's World Cup winning football star. The 27-year-old Ivanovic shrugged off a 2.5-hour rain stoppage to secure her 3rd 3-sets win in 4 rounds in Paris. The 20-year-old that to be Svitolina, beat fellow former Roland Garros junior champion Elise Cornet 6-2, 7-6. Yamaha's George Lorenzo dominated the Italian Grand Prix earlier today to close the gap on championship leading teammate Valentino Rossi to 6 points with his third MotoGP victory in a row. Now Ducati's was second, a career best after starting on pole position for the first time, while veteran great Rossi delighted his home crowd by climbing from 8th place on the grid to the podium. Rossi now has 118 points to Lorenzo's 112.
And you know, 3 in a row. I think a few times in MotoGP I made 3 in a row, but now the goal is to make 4. It's going to be difficult, but we're going to try.
Moving on the news at 10. East African leaders have taken a stand against the proposed elections in Burundi scheduled for June, urging President Pierre Nkurunziza to postpone the polls to a more peaceful time. The decision was made at a recent summit in the Tanzanian capital Dar es Salaam, where they also called for the disarmament of all armed groups and for the creation of conditions for the return of refugees. Protests have rocked the Burundian capital since the president announced his decision to run a third term, backed by the Constitutional Court. The opposition says that it contravenes the constitution. Before now, the East African leaders had called for a rescheduling of the election, causing the president to move parliamentary polls for June the 5th and the presidential on the 26th. The brewing political instability has already caused a rising number of refugees pouring into neighboring countries. And daughter of FIFA's fifth-time president, Sepp Blatter, has spoken out on recent accusations of bribery and corruption following FIFA's officials. While speaking to the BBC, Connie Blatter said that her father is a victim of conspiracy. Though he has not been implicated in any of the scandals, Mr. Blatter has been urged to step down. Corinne said that people working behind the scenes were interested in seeing her father's downfall. She denied her father had taken any money to influence World Cup bidding for 2018. She claims that all the money her father earned, he did by working and had no need to take any other kind of money. Our US Secretary of State John Kerry is back home after receiving treatment for a broken knee sustained today in a bicycle accident in France. Now, Mr. Kerry was earlier flown by helicopter to a hospital in Geneva, Switzerland, where he was stabilized and rested. The injury has forced him to cancel proposed trips to Madrid in Spain and Paris in France. On Friday, the United States Secretary of State was one of the foreign leaders in Nigeria to attend the swearing-in ceremony of President Muhammadu Buhari. Mr. Kerry's spokesman, John Kerry, confirmed that the Secretary of State is in stable condition after breaking his femur earlier today. The 71-year-old Kerry is known to be a keen sportsman and often takes his own bike on official trips abroad. Well, the Egyptian government has torched the headquarters of the party of former President Hosni Mubarak. The former president's National Democratic Party was dissolved in April 2011, and its assets, including the headquarters of the River Nile, were seized. Well, the government has now decided to demolish it. The ex-president was sentenced to 3 years in jail on corruption charges after a retrial earlier this month, but remains in the Mahdi Military Hospital in Cairo, where he has been held during his trial. Well, today is World Tobacco Day, and the United Nations is preaching that elimination of the world's illicit tobacco trade will not only save millions of lives, but will also generate billions of dollars in windfall for governments. Observed on May the 31st every year, World Tobacco Day highlights the health risks associated with tobacco use and advocates for effective policies to reduce tobacco consumption. Well, the VOA's Carla Person looks at some of the strategies that could help people quit.
A highly addictive, very powerful drug.
It's no secret that any type of tobacco use is not healthy, but for most people, it's hard to quit. That's because most of them started the habit as teenagers, and because tobacco contains nicotine.
Nicotine is a highly addictive, very powerful drug.
Dr. Kimberly Horn says teens are likely to use more than one form of tobacco. It could be cigarettes, small cigars, or smokeless tobacco. And teens who smoke are likely to use electronic cigarettes, which also deliver nicotine.
The more nicotine that I get, the more addicted I am, the more difficult it is for me to quit.
There is no one technique for quitting that works for everyone.
And the main news again. Boko Haram insurgents have continued to wreak havoc on Yobe and Borno states. Again today, explosion ripped through a market in Maiduguri. Many injured as local government secretariat is set ablaze. And 6 top Central Bank of Nigeria officials are to be arraigned at the Federal High Court in Ibadan tomorrow over alleged 8 billion naira fraud. And that's how it's been on the news at 10 tonight. I want to thank you so much indeed for being a part of it. I'm Gimba Umar. Have a splendid night rest. Good night.